Welcome to Family Peace Initiative's Curriculum Blips. In this podcast, we provide fast and easy resources for facilitators using the FPI suite of curricula to help you prepare before stepping into a group room. Whether you're brand new to BIP facilitation or using drive time to refresh yourself on familiar concepts, these blips are intended to help you get in the right frame of mind as you head into group. You'll hear from seasoned staff and FPI curricula authors on the key concepts and goals of each lesson, as well as what to expect from group members in these conversations. Today, we're closing out Section 4. Steve Halley, co-founder and co-director of the Family Peace Initiative, walks us through Session 3 of this section, the conflict tree. Let's get right to it.
In Week 3 of Section 4 of the Negotiation of Fairness section is the conflict tree. And I smile when I think about the conflict tree because, 10 years ago or so, when Tish found out about the conflict tree, thanks to Mary San Martin in Higher Ground at Wichita, she got all excited about this tool and started applying it. And when she showed it to me, I was kind of puzzled. I was like, Tish, I don't see it. I don't understand what you're doing. But obviously, people in your groups are having insights. So help me out. Explain it to me. And I watched Tish do it, and I had Tish explain it to me, and I just struggled with, Tish, I'm sorry, I don't see it. So she has spent time over the years trying to simplify, making it user-friendly for me so that I can apply it with my classes. And she finally came up with a brilliant process that I call conflict tree paint by numbers. It is literally a 10-step process that allows people to take a look at the common conflicts that show up in their relationships and what would be a strategy to notice our shadow message and how it plays out and our golden shadow message and how we do things differently depending on how we believe about ourselves. And so I want to just talk with you a little bit that when we talk about a conflict tree, we're looking at the running conflicts in people's relationships. And generally speaking, people, if they're in a battery intervention program, they're kind of self-acknowledging that they are not skilled at resolving conflicts in relationships. And you can ask them about that. How many people in your group are really good at resolving conflict to where both people feel good about the outcome? And generally speaking, the answer is, no, I'm not very good at it. What we do is we yell, we fight, we argue, we disagree, and then we just agree to let it go. But it doesn't get resolved. And so the conflict tree is a way to break this down and take a look at it. So what we do is we would stage this activity by sharing a conflict that seemed to be a recurring thing in my relationship, if I'm the facilitator. And in my relationship with Dorothy, one of the conflicts that seemed to bubble up is approach to parenting. We would struggle and argue and wrestle with how do we parent Max and make the best decisions. And sometimes, my opinions were quite different than Dorothy's. And looking back on it, I'm really glad that Dorothy would just kind of follow her instincts in parenting, because I think if we'd followed my instincts, it's potential that Max would have either had a less positive experience or may have actually, we could have hurt our attachment, our connection with him, and had a different undesirable outcome. So what we want to do is when we're staging it, we want to create an opportunity for the participants to think about what's the recurring struggle in my relationship. And there are some common themes that show up. And we want to try to steer people away from the deal breaker things like drug use or affairs, whatever it would be, because those are not necessarily conflicts that are going to get resolved today through a process. But there are these running themes of time together, how money is spent, sexual opportunities in the relationship, how much time is spent on a phone. Those kind of themes come up in all relationships. And so as we help the group to identify what that thing is, then we want to let them know that there's really, when you boil it down, only two ways to have a conflict. You can explore and understand, or you can protect and defend. And if we're not skilled, if we're not good at resolving conflict so that both people feel good about it, we're probably protecting and defending. And so let's take a look at how it works. And so what we'll do is we'll have one person in the class just kind of, there's always somebody who's hot about, oh yeah, here's this conflict that's always showing up in our relationship. And, my wife is always on the phone in the evening and not paying attention to me, right? And so, something like that, it's a running, recurring thing. And so then we begin to fill out the conflict form, just one at a time and nice and patiently, methodically. Great, so when this comes up, what is it that you do? What do you normally do? I yell, I scream, I storm out of the room, I do these things. And then we're just walking through the paint by numbers conflict tree, and we're able to show how when our shadow is activated, that commonly then we're moving to a protect and defend mode, that I'm right and you're wrong and I can't consider anything else. But when our golden shadow message is activated, that I'm okay, I'm valuable, I'm worthy, then we approach the disagreement, the conflict in our relationship quite differently. And that's what we want to be able to reinforce with the group, is that my shadow message impacts the way I am behaving in my relationship in lots of different ways. It's not just when I'm violent, but as we talked about a couple of curriculum blips ago, when we talked about how the unfair negotiation is evidence of the shadow being activated. And now we're talking about in a conflict that isn't able to be really resolved in a good way, that's shadow driven as well. That if we're exploring and understanding, the odds of us resolving a conflict in a good way go up considerably. And we want people to kind of train their brains to understand, what am I doing right now? Am I exploring and understanding and trying to listen to my partner's point of view and perspective? Or am I just protecting and defending? Am I trying to win this argument at any cost? Am I trying to defend my position? Am I trying to prove my partner wrong? And all of that is commonly shadow-driven behavior. And so it's the final section of the negotiation and fairness, and we spent this whole time really, one of the goals of this whole section is to show how our shadow message shows up in a lot of different ways. It's not just in our physical violence. It's the way we try to win. It's the way we try to make our partner lose. It's the way we interact when we're protecting and defending, when we are trying to get our way, and helping them understand that the shadow message and the golden shadow message, being aware, understanding, recognizing those when they pop up in our body, are key to being able to have respectful, kind relationships. So I hope you have a great time, and I hope you think about the conflict tree paint by numbers activity, and I hope you think about Tish Taylor and Mary San Martin as you go through this, because it has been a transformative tool that has changed greatly over the years. But now I believe that they have created a tool that is very, very useful and is full of insights for those in your groups. So have a great time with that, and we'll be moving into the section on trust and partnership coming up.
Thanks for preparing for your group with us today. If you have questions, stucks, or if there's a section of the curriculum you'd like to hear us explore in more detail, we'd love to hear from you. Email us at reception@familypeaceinitiative.com or submit a contact form on our website. Family Peace Initiative, working to serve our clients and community with compassion, integrity, and expertise.